Ronaldinho, from being the best player in the world,
Ronaldinho into the area. Ronaldinho! 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 Ronaldinho!
has become a criminal. He's locked up in a prison in Paraguay with only $6 in his bank account. What happened?
The former Brazilian football star Ronaldinho and his brother are being detained in Paraguay.
The tragic story of Ronaldinho begins from his childhood. He was born in one of the most dangerous cities in Brazil, Porto Alegre. It was a city where crime was a constant threat. His parents earned very little, and as a result, he and his siblings grew up in a small wooden shack. From birth, it was clear that it would be up to him to improve his family's life. However, there was one thing that kept them united: soccer. But they were so poor that they couldn't even afford to buy Ronaldinho proper soccer shoes. So his father lied to him, telling them that if he wanted to become a professional, he had to learn to play well without shoes in order to have better ball control. And perhaps his father was right, because Ronaldinho's older brother, Roberto, became the new soccer star of the favela at the age of 16. Ronaldinho, being 10 years younger, gave his best. He wanted to make his father proud, and Roberto also helped Ronaldinho. The two of them trained on the streets every day. Both had the same dream to become professional players for their father. He knew they were something special, and after work he spent his spare time training with his boys, and then it happened. Roberto was signed by Grêmio, the professional soccer team of the city. They made a life-changing deal for the family. It wasn't just a signing bonus, the club also provided the family with a house with a pool and a safe area. Roberto had helped his family escape poverty, but only a few months later, Ronaldinho's life would change forever. He was returning home for Roberto's 18th birthday and was looking forward to celebrating, but when he entered the house, he saw everyone crying instead of celebrating. His father had a heart attack, fell in the pool, and drowned. His idol, the man who had done everything for him and his brother to pursue their soccer dream, was no longer with them. Roberto became the man of the house, and now it was up to him to earn money to support the family. And even though Ronaldinho was only 8 years old, he trained even harder, hoping to get a contract soon and help the family. The pressure weighed heavily on Roberto, but things initially went well. He helped Grêmio win titles, and he caught the attention of the national team. But then fate struck. He suffered a severe knee injury and had to stop playing for 8 months. It seemed like the focus was now on Ronaldinho, but he was ready. During his teenage years, he worked tirelessly on his soccer skills, and it paid off. Word spread about a soccer genius after his team won 23-0 against another team, and Ronaldinho scored all 23 goals. In 1998, the moment finally arrived. Grêmio signed him. He was officially a professional soccer player, and Roberto became his manager. What they had fought for their whole lives seemed to be coming true. But it was also tough for Ronaldinho because he knew that no matter how much success he achieved, his father would never be able to be at the stadium cheering for him. After 3 successful years at Grêmio and winning the Confederation Cup with Brazil, many clubs had their eyes on Ronaldinho. And in 2001, he moved to PSG for $5 million. All of this happened before the Qatari takeover. He had to prove his worth first and often started games from the bench. But he always played exceptionally well and soon secured a spot in the starting 11. He became the player of PSG. However, the PSG executives noticed a problem. Ronaldinho had become a major issue. He'd made it. He was a millionaire, a professional soccer player, and training was no longer his priority. Partying was. Almost every night, he partied in the clubs of Paris and often showed up for training only on Fridays and for games on Saturdays. Despite this, his performance on the field remained outstanding. In 2003, PSG knew they had to sell him, and all the big clubs wanted him. He chose Barcelona, a club that was struggling to keep up with Real Madrid at the time, but he took the club to a whole new level. His skills were incredible, his dribbling was out of this world, and his smile was infectious. He won the FIFA Player of the Year award twice, the Ballon d'Or, and the Champions League. He also appeared in a Nike commercial, which was the first video on YouTube to surpass 1 million views. But all of this couldn't bring his father back. And after 3 years, concerns started to arise at Barcelona as well, because Ronaldinho had won it all and his attention had returned to partying. The whole issue escalated to the point where he showed up drunk to training. This happened just as another star was starting to make his mark at Barca, the young Leo Messi. And Ronaldinho took care of the shy boy and showed him the way. He helped Messi feel at home with the team and taught him how to handle the pressure. However, Barcelona didn't want Ronaldinho's bad behavior to influence Messi, and it also seemed like Ronaldinho wanted a change in scenery. So in 2008, he decided to move to Italy. He joined Milan, a club that wanted to give him a chance at redemption. And he started well, but then fell back into old habits. He became a regular guest of the Italian nightlife. Milan sold him after a few years, and Ronaldinho moved from one club to another. In the Brazilian club Fluminense, it seemed that he had a clause in his contract that allowed him to party during the night. In 2015, the time came. Soccer legend Ronaldinho distanced himself from the sport he loved, but even then his decision-making didn't improve. Even though he was no longer earning like during his active playing career, he didn't stop partying and excessive drinking. The truth is, he wasn't happy and didn't receive the help he needed, and the situation worsened. He refused to pay bills, got involved in dubious cryptocurrency operations, and repeatedly clashed with Brazilian authorities. For example, he illegally built a bridge on his property, so the authorities had no choice but to press charges against their idol. In court, it emerged that he had over $1 million in debt and only $6 in his bank account, from being a millionaire to having $6. As a result, the court confiscated his passport because it was suspected that Ronaldinho had hidden money somewhere. Everyone thought this was his lowest point. But then, Ronaldinho and Roberto committed one of the biggest mistakes of their lives.
Ronaldinho Gaucho was arrested in Paraguay on Friday for allegedly attempting to enter the country with a fake passport.
Both were arrested for attempting to enter Paraguay with fake passports. I mean, just look at them. The passports were for Paraguayan citizens, and Ronaldinho is well known in South America, so the officials knew he should have a Brazilian passport, and this one couldn't be real. Ronaldinho and his brother were imprisoned and faced a potential 5-year prison sentence. He repeatedly claimed that he didn't know the passports were fake and that he wasn't responsible for them. It was the people who had invited him to Paraguay. However, he wasn't released, so he ended up in a prison in Paraguay. But it seemed like he was returning to his old love. He started playing soccer with the other inmates, but nonetheless, he had to celebrate his 40th birthday alone behind bars. After 32 days, he was allowed to leave prison and placed under house arrest, but only after Ronaldinho and Roberto paid a bail of $1.6 million. Where did the money come from? I guess he wasn't completely broke after all, but who knows? And after 5 months of house arrest, both were allowed to return to Brazil. But it seems that the whole ordeal was also the wake-up call he needed. It seemed like he wanted to take control of his life again. He became an ambassador for a soccer team stadium, founded a music studio, launched his own brand of gin, and focused on endorsement deals. Just a few months after his release from prison, we saw a photo of him on Instagram in March 2022 with a Rolls Royce. It seemed like he was earning well again. He also started producing his own film, and the trailer read, "A difficult period of my life is about to end. Fortunately, I can never thank enough those who supported me." I hope Ronaldinho has gained control of his life. At least the title of his movie seems to allude to that. Ronaldinho, the happiest man in the world.